Hello guys, it's March 7th and it's only a 2-game NBA slate for today. Starting off at point guard, Russell Westbrook, 11.1k. If you want to pay up for both Westbrook and Paul George, I think definitely that's totally fine. It is only a 2-game slate, so raw points are definitely a priority here. Damian Lillard is 8.1k. $3,000 savings does look pretty nice because you're going to need some of that salary for other pieces here. Bledsoe 6.4k is okay, but not somebody that I'm going to be going to here. I don't really like him here. Indiana, they have a pretty solid defense, so Bledsoe with everybody on the Bucks healthy isn't really a priority for me. CJ McCollum 6.1k, a nice $2,000 savings here. McCollum does have a lot of good games against the OKC Thunder, and this is a good matchup for him. But the $2,000 difference, it usually is more than that, like 2.5 or closer to 3k, because Lillard is around 9k. It seems like it's probably better to pay up for Lillard because it's only a $2,000 difference. But again, 2-game slate, so that $2,000 could definitely allow you to afford a lot. Darren Collison 5.8k, not something that I'm going to be going to. Eric Bledsoe has been a very solid defender this year. Brogdon seems like a safer option. He has a better floor, but Bledsoe definitely has the higher ceiling. But you are getting $800 in savings. Dennis Schroeder, not a guy that I want with Paul George back now. Corey Joseph, 3.8k, is a little bit interesting, but this isn't the best matchup for him. However, he could get minutes if anybody were to get in foul trouble or injury, something were to happen to Collison, Matthews, or even Boyan. They could just really kind of shift everyone down. But this matchup isn't really one for Corey Joseph because we know the Bucks like to give up the 3 ball. So on pick and rolls that Corey Joseph likes to run, same thing with Collison, they'll usually try to take that away and just give up some 3-pointers. So that's why I'm going to be more on to guys like Bogdanovich and Wesley Matthews. I think I'd rather prefer Matthews for that huge savings there, 1,700. Wesley Matthews is going to take a whole lot of threes. That's just what he is. That's how he plays. So I really like Wesley Matthews here. Chris Middleton, 6.3k is alright. That price is nice. But again, just with everyone healthy, not a priority for me. Pat Connaughton, if you are really digging for something, if you really need the value, he put up like a 0 last game. So if he's still going to get you 20 plus minutes and he gets some blowout run, definitely Pat Connaughton is in play just because he actually is a pretty nice rebounder this year and he gets some assists too. So as long as he can knock down some of those threes, which we know him as a shooter, definitely 3.2k he can return really nice value. For small forward, Giannis at the top, 11.2k. He seems to still be on somewhat of a minutes limit here. We're going to have to see if there's any word on that, but Giannis, 11.2k, even in limited minutes, he can still put up crazy numbers as we've seen in the past. Last time when he put up 82, that was in 38 minutes. That probably is not what we're going to be seeing, how much Giannis is going to play the rest of the season. He's probably going to be more around the lower 30s in minutes, below 33, even in closer games, because they're totally fine with just going with their other players because they are a really solid team. So Giannis, he could be a bit limited in his minutes now for the rest of the season. We're going to have to see. Definitely towards the end of the season, probably, if they're still fighting for playoff seeding, which they should be, they're probably going to let him play a little bit. But here, with still like a month to go in the season, Milwaukee's going to be at home. They're pretty nice favorites here. I think Giannis 11.2k is still in play, but I'm kind of leaning towards more of getting Westbrook with Paul George here, just because I think Milwaukee, there's a higher chance of it blowing out, even though I don't really like to predict blowouts. But Giannis is going to be playing lower 30s in minutes, whereas for Westbrook and PG, they're probably going to be playing closer to 40 minutes. And then Westbrook's also $100 cheaper, so if you need the savings or something. And I'm also thinking that just how the roster construction is working right now, it's probably easier to fit Russell Westbrook in than Giannis because of how many forwards there are that are kind of like the studs and also your value options. I'll get to that later, but Next, Paul George, 9.7K. This is probably the best slate and probably the highest owned player on the slate, but Portland just gets destroyed on the wings. Small forwards, power forwards. I've been rostering guys like Paul George, Kevin Durant all season long against the Blazers. Blazers have some solid defenders like Mo Harkless and Aminu on the wing, but it's just something that maybe it's their defensive scheme or something, but they just give up a whole lot to these positions. And with Paul George back last game, he played 38 minutes, so he should be playing around 40 again here. He didn't shoot that well, 8 for 25 last game, but he still got you 37.8. And this is the matchup for forwards. So Paul George here with a price decrease, and he looks to be just fine. This is the favorite play, probably the best play by far on this slate. So I'm locking in Paul George in every single lineup that I'm going to be playing today. Thaddeus Young is okay, but he's probably going to be guarding Giannis, and Giannis is going to be guarding him, so it's not going to be a nice matchup for him. But the price is nice, and there's still no Sabonis, so he could definitely have a nice game. Now, Nikola Mirotic is a very interesting GPP play. Looking back at how Indiana has played opponents, especially like Milwaukee, they've given up a whole lot of three-pointers. And maybe that's because they wanted to be taking away Giannis's drives, but they're giving up a whole lot of three-pointers to their other guys like Brook Lopez. He's been shooting attempting like 10 threes every time that they've been playing, like near 10, like 8, 10. It's just an insane number, and that is who Brook Lopez is. But same thing with Mirotic. These two guys are amazing three-point shooters, and that's what they do. And you're getting Mirotic at a nice 4.8K price tag. He's still playing, low 20s in minutes. Definitely could get around like 24, but 4.8K, you really don't need him to do a whole lot. Like last game, he shot 3 of 14, and he put up 28.8. Yes, that was against the Suns, but against Indiana, which is definitely a much tougher defense. But is he really going to shoot 3 of 14 again? He could, but you definitely think that it could probably be more of like a movement towards kind of like how he's been doing, which is definitely way better than the 3 for 14 shooter. So, if he just sinks like a couple more shots, he's going to be overvalued easily. Like he hit overvalue last game too. So he could absolutely smash. He can be a threat for like 8x. And on the 2-game slate, this is what you kind of need. GPP play like this. He's probably one of my favorite GPP options on the slate. And then Mo Harkless and Aminu, Portland value here, 4.2 and 3.9K. Both of them should be seeing some solid minutes here. Evan Turner is going to be out. And Harkless has been playing really well recently. He's not that big or that good of a scorer, but he's been doing that, and he's been getting a lot of rebounds with his usual defensive stats. And also a couple of assists too. So that's really nice to see. And 4.2K still seems pretty cheap. He's probably going to be guarding PG. Same thing with Aminu. They should see some nice minutes here. Aminu hasn't been playing as many minutes recently, but I think in this matchup, they could definitely get closer to double digits of rebounds, and they're going to need him for his defense. And Jake Layman is a nice pivot from Harkless or Aminu. Usually when Layman gets minutes, it's going to be at the expense of Harkless or Aminu. Layman did start the 3 in the beginning of the season, but he's been moved to the bench with Harkless just returning from injury, and Aminu is still their main power forward guy. But Layman can play both 3 and the 4, so if there's something, or if something were to happen to Harkless or Aminu, Layman could definitely step in. And also Layman, he definitely can get hot sometimes. Like he's had games where he's just shot really well, and when he does, he also is a good rebounder, so he can definitely threaten like 10x value. Definitely GPP play, but when he does play well, then he's going to get into the 20s in minutes, and that's going to come at the expense of Harkless or Aminu. So I think it is a nice idea to pivot from Harkless or Aminu, because they're going to definitely be the more chalkier plays. Looking elsewhere, not really anybody below Layman. Power forward, Jeremy Grant is okay, 5.1K, but PG is back. And that's really not much else to power forward. That's kind of how like you want to play Paul George here. And then for center, it's Nurkic, 6.7K. His price is down. Steven Adams is not something that a lot of people want to target, neither do I, but it is a short slate, and Nurkic is only 6.7K now. It's a huge price decrease. We're getting him at a price where he was a few months ago, and he's definitely shown a whole lot of upside this season, and he's gonna be at home. This is gonna be a primetime game. Even with Enes Kanter back, there's still a guy that can get you around 30 plus minutes, and he's a very good producer when he's on the court. So I really like Nurkic 6.7K, crazy upside. Miles Turner, not something that I'm going to be wanting here, 6.2K. He's probably going to be guarding Brook Lopez, and he's going to be standing out on the perimeter a lot, which is going to limit his shot blocking ability. And even if he's in the paint, definitely there's a whole lot of foul trouble risk with Giannis just working around the rim. So definitely rather pay up for Nurkic or go down to Brook Lopez. Steven Adams is 5.9K. He's fine. He's been playing pretty well, but that's also probably because Paul George has been out. I think he can still get you a double-double, but with PG back, I'd rather play PG and Westbrook over Steven Adams and get some exposure to the other players on these other teams. Brook Lopez, 5.3K. This is a nice block shot in the 3-point shooting spot here for Brook Lopez. He's playing around 30 plus minutes, and if this is a competitive game, that's definitely what we can see him doing. He's going to be needed to stretch the floor out because Miles Turner is a very elite shot blocker, so I definitely expect Brook Lopez to see really nice minutes. Like, he played 35 last game. I think they're going to need him again here. They definitely don't want to play Mirotic at the 5. Just in the past, they've wanted to keep him at the 4. Brook Lopez has amazing shot blocking ability, and he's going to be chucking up a lot of threes. Like, he shot 10. This is a good matchup because Indiana seems to be giving up a lot of threes to these big men. So that's why I really like Mirotic and Brook Lopez. And then Enes Kanter, if you think Nurkic gets into foul trouble, Nurkic does tend to have that problem, and he gets a lot of fouls. So definitely something that could happen because it is Steven Adams. He's a tough guy, in there. He can offensive rebound, whatever. So Kanter is only 4K. If you're trying to kind of like play this as a game theory standpoint, then yeah, Kanter works. And that's really it. So favorite plays, I'm going to put Paul George at power forward just because of how thin this position is. And then I really like Wesley Matthews, just this 3-point shooting spot. And then I think the safest value for Portland is that you're going to want to go with Harkless, and then you can also play Aminu together because they're just both so cheap here. And then I think you want I think you want either Lillard or McCollum. Definitely, I'd rather get Lillard because it's only a 2K difference. But if I'm trying to get Giannis or Russell Westbrook, which I would prefer Westbrook here, because if you look at just how the value shakes out, like, I'd rather save some of these forward spots because, like, I kind of want to play maybe, like Nurkic at center, or maybe like Brook Lopez, or if you're not playing like Giannis and you want some bucks, like, you need these forward spots because with Harkless, George, and Aminu, you only really have one other forward spot, and that's the utility. So if you were to put like Mirotic in here, you're really out of spots. And if you were to play Giannis, then how would you get Harkless, George, Aminu, and Mirotic? So that's why I kind of lean Westbrook right now. But obviously, if there's anything with injury news, then that's going to change. One thing to note is that Dante DiVincenzo is going to be back. He probably might not even play, but that's just something to note here if you're wanting to go with Pat Connaughton. I think Jake Layman is a little bit safer than Connaughton, but he is $200 more. So, if you need the savings, then maybe you can take a shot at Connaughton, but that's really kind of really thin there. So favorite plays, I'd say George is my favorite, and Harkless Aminu gets you a lot of value. Wesley Matthews, probably a popular value play on this slate. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and also please subscribe to the channel. Also, my Twitter will be in the description below. It's at Boffles. You can follow me on there. DM me if you have any questions, or just comment below on this video, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you guys for watching, and good luck on this slate. Bye.